Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this week's Penn State Wrestling Media Zoom. Head coach Cael Sanderson has joined us, and shortly after him, we'll get with 125-pounder Drew Hildebrandt. And we'll use the hand up function, and we can go ahead and get started here since we got a lot of people online. Tanyon Loose, get us started. Questions for Cael.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know your thoughts and kind of the importance of your roster as a whole going throughout the duration of the season. I mean, you kind of know what you got, and you're returning national champions. What do guys like Drew and Brady and Greg mean to the team going down the stretch?
Oh, Cael, you're muted. There you go.
Yeah. It's a team sport here, and we need 10 guys. The most we can get out of 10 guys if we want to compete for national championship. We saw that last year. So yeah, we're just trying to get better at every weight as we move along this season here, and everybody's obviously important as we compete in dual meets, but also Big Ten and nationals.
Ben Surface.
Cael, Drew Hildebrandt's a guy who stepped into your locker room not too long ago and has kind of solidified that 125 spot. How has he become a leader for you guys so far?
Well, I think leadership is just being consistent and, just basically sharing your passion for what you're doing with the rest of the squad, and just by being yourself. I think he's a great example of those things. Just very consistent and obviously a very good wrestler, but just gives a great effort every time, and is going to be himself regardless of the circumstances or situation. So he's been very valuable to us, and it's just a fun guy to have around and to have on the team.
Greg Pickle.
Hey, Cael, thanks for your time this morning.
Yep.
What did you learn about your situation at 57 over the weekend, and where do you think things could go at that weight from here?
We're still playing with that. I think, we have guys with potential that are just kind of right on the verge or the cusp of just kind of being a point scorer there. Losing some close matches, a lot of skill though, and talent. Just got to figure out how to, finish shots and do those little things to put them over the top. But yeah, we're still playing with that weight class, and nothing's really changed there.
Jim Carlson.
Hey, Cael, just guessing here, but maybe only 3 of your guys have been in Carver. Just wondering, what do you tell them this week about the atmosphere, the noise, the intensity they'll be facing there?
We wrestle in a lot of venues around the country. Rec Hall, one of them, the Jordan Center being one. So we're just going to compete. We're not worried about the kind of any outside distractions.
Mike Finn.
Good morning, Cael. As important as this weekend is for schools and stuff, it's the Big Tens and the NCAAs that really matter the most for school. What do your wrestlers get out of these regular season meetings? Is it good to see them a lot before the postseason? What's the good? What's the bad? Does it depend on the wrestler?
I think it's just the way things are, right? The dual meets are a lot of fun to go in and wrestle the other teams in the conference and the nation at their home venue or our home venue, and it's just that's exciting stuff. And then also seeing kids that you've got to beat if you want to be a national champion down the road. So I think it's just positive all around. We're just competing, and this weekend, just like every other match, you always want to win, you always want to wrestle great, but it's more important to just kind of see where you're at and then continue to improve, and that's something that we know Iowa's really good at, kind of showing you what you need to do better and improve on. And so that's would be the game plan this year too. Wrestle great on Friday, but just continue to wrestle better as the season goes along.
Thanks, Cael.
Tanyon Loose.
Yeah, after his big win on Friday, it really looks like Greg is kind of taking the next step this season. Obviously there's the health factor, but is there anything else that has really kind of led to him really looking great this season?
I think he's just more confident. Everyone knows the story from last year where he was literally off the mat at least 6 weeks, and he got cleared to wrestle the day of the Maryland match. And he, being the competitor that he is, wanted to compete. And then the Big Ten was the following weekend, or maybe it was a week and a half after that or something. But there wasn't really time to, get him into killer shape. It was just kind of getting him ready to compete at that point. And he still was able to be an All-American. So yeah, I mean, Greg's just he's more confident this year, but just he's a tough kid, and he's a good wrestler. And I think we're seeing that he's just getting better in each match. He's solid in all 3 positions, and that's kind of the name of the game is especially for him, is just improve every time he steps out on the mat. And I think he's been doing that.
Ben Surface.
Cael, I think the last time Drew talked to us, he said he was a little bit one of the older guys, and not many people, he wasn't sure if a ton of people knew that. Have any of the younger guys kind of gravitated towards him, or has he sought out some of the younger guys in some of the lower weight classes to kind of mentor them and show them the ropes a little bit more?
I mean, that might be a question for him, but I think he's done a great job. I know a lot of our kids or other guys in the program around those weight classes are definitely wanting to train with him and work out with him. I know Robbie Howard, I've heard him say a few times, he wants to wrestle with Drew every chance he gets, kind of a thing. And, but yeah, I think he's been, just not just a boost, obviously, for our team this year, but also just a great training partner, just a great role model in just the way he prepares and just the energy that he brings, the consistency, like I mentioned before. And I mean, that's really what it is. It's just being consistent, doing the right things in and out of the classroom or in and out of the wrestling room and all those, moments in between. So, and he does all those things. So yeah, he's been a great blessing for our team, obviously competitively, but also just as a role model.
Jim Carlson.
Hey, Drew lost a close bout to Soriano. A guy never likes to lose, but did that bout in any way help set the tone for the rest of the match at Michigan? And do you expect his match with Ayala this week to maybe do the same thing?
Well, I think that's just the nature of any dual meet. You can set the tone, right, every match, but you can also change that energy if you're the next guy up. So that's one of the the fun parts about wrestling or any kind of team sport is momentum can be a thing if you allow it to be. We're not that's not something we really talk a lot about. I think it's each guy's job up and down the lineup to kind of go out there and do their own thing regardless of what's happened before them, good or bad. But yeah, I think having a guy like Drew to start us off is a huge plus for us, right? I mean, we've been, unfortunately, the last few years, we've kind of gotten used to being down points, right out of the gate, and our guys have responded well. But yeah, having a title contender in there like Drew, it's exciting.
Andrew Clay.
Hey, Coach, there's so much talk about how good this team is and being ready to win a national championship. Do you find it important to try to keep those headlines and those conversations out of the locker room?
Yeah, we don't really talk about that stuff much. We're just trying to help each individual just get as good as they can be, right? I mean, kids want to win naturally when they're 2 years old, right? So it's not something that, we need to motivate them or fire them up. It's more about just making sure they're prepared and then kind of letting them go do their thing.
Tanyon Loose.
Yeah, Cael, we haven't really had much of a chance to talk to Brady yet, so I'm kind of wondering if he shared with you like his expectations for the season, kind of his goals since he came back to the program.
Well, yeah, I think he has first and foremost, obviously he has eligibility, and he felt really good and feels healthy, and he wants to just see what he can do. I think if you've watched him over the last few years, he has the ability to go deep into the tournament. He has the ability and potential to win. I think that's his goal. I think that's everybody's goal. But yeah, it's just one match at a time. Let's get better every match and be ready to go in March right now.
Greg Pickle.
Coach, staying on Brady, was it a difficult decision between 57 and 65, or was it kind of a no-brainer once you got him on campus and saw where he was at?
I think, that's his decision. I think, we support our guys and what they want to do. And I think it's the right thing. I think with his circumstances and what he's dealt with in the past, that he's big and strong enough to be at 65, and I think it's the right decision. So we support him 100%, obviously, in that, and we're just glad to have him back. He's a good dude.
Andrew Clay.
Coach Sean McDermott talked a lot last week at length about that experience he had on campus back in 2019. Do you remember much about that day when he came to watch practice? Is there anything you learned from Coach McDermott?
Yeah, for sure. I think he was really impressive. I think he's definitely, our kind of guy in the way that he runs his program. And, he obviously has a wrestling background. That's, how I met him. But just the whole way he came in here, he texted me or whatever and said, "Hey, I'm here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, where you at?" And he was just outside rec hall. He had his hat down, no entourage. He came in by himself, would have been happy just to sit there and listen and watch. Obviously, we were more than happy and eager to, we're trying to learn from him. So we're asking him questions too at the same time. And then when he sat in the room, he was just very gracious to the guys, and just you can just tell he's just a humble guy. I think but obviously a fierce competitor, and I think that's why they've been so successful, and I think that's the consistent success too, right? But it was cool. Our guys obviously, we played dodgeball that day, and I think that was one of the more intense games we've ever had, because the team was out there trying out for the Bills that day, but it was good. Yeah, he's very impressive guy, and it's no surprise to see them be as successful as they've been.
All right, two more for Cael. JP Pearson.
Hi, Coach. I was wondering if you could just give us your reactions and observations of the titanic battle between Miles Amin and Aaron Brooks on Friday night. What did you see and what did you observe?
I saw the same things you guys did. It's just a great match, and something that I think Aaron and everyone else is looking forward to seeing the same thing again. I think Aaron can make some adjustments. Obviously, I'm sure they are going to make some adjustments, and that's what makes competition and fun. So but great battles. I mean, Aaron's offense and defense was really just top notch. Some of those positions they were in were world-class positions and world-class effort. So great matchup.
Last one for Cael. Tanyon Loose, close us out.
Yeah, Cael. I mean, we've talked to you a lot about getting bonus points this season and being aggressive on the mat out there. At what point, when you're facing a team like Iowa or Michigan, are you just okay with getting the win, or is it always a try to go out there and get the max number of points mentality no matter who you're facing?
Well, it's up to each individual, right? I mean, they're going to approach the match the way they choose. Everyone's a little bit different. As a competitor, I think, at least the way I think about it, is you're thinking about the next match and the next match and the next match, not the one you're in right now. So really the score isn't as important as just trying to make your opponent not want to wrestle you again, or, to let them know there's no easy points, that kind of thing. If you can beat somebody by 8 points, you should beat them by 8 points, obviously thinking about the team, but there's a lot of different reasons why you would just be the best you can be every time. You don't hold back, right, kind of a thing. But like I said, it's up to each individual and how they're going to approach the match and the way they've approached these matches their whole careers, their whole lives. But yeah, I mean, we'd rather, and I think I've said this before, I mean, we're going to get more out of a 10-9 loss a lot of times than a 2-1 win. And, depending on the time of the year, here at the Nationals, we'll take that 2-1 win all day, obviously, but we just want to keep getting better, and we want to practice scoring points, practice having the mindset that's going to help them be successful in the biggest moments. And that's just consistency, right? You want to be great in a big match. You got to be great in every match and every practice. So yeah, I think that's just, it is what it is. I think there's no secrets there. I mean, I'm sure every coach is kind of preaching and talking about the same things.
All right, Cael, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later today. And we'll bring in Drew Hildebrandt now. Get him pinned. And there he is. Hi, Drew. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get started with questions for Drew. Jim Carlson, get us started.
Hey, Drew, what would you say that you learned from the Suriano match that will help you moving forward through the Big Ten schedule and postseason?
I just think my mindset approaching matches, I got to really start to get my offense going more and compete and want to score more points. And, knowing I'm that guy, I can win a national title. So.
Tanyon Loose.
Sorry, was on the wrong tether. Drew, I'm just kind of looking at Penn State's roster and seeing your teammates like Aaron and Roman and Nick. How do you view yourself as like equally as important, especially when you're going into like nationals and Big Tens, as far as your ability to score points for this team?
Yeah, I mean, I basically, I came back to win a national title and to help this team. And so I just view, every win I get or every bonus point I get is a benefit to this team. And I'm just trying to, help them, maybe learn some things on the way.
Mike Finn.
Oh, hey, Drew. I know a lot of the Penn State writers know how you ended up State College. Would you remind me how it is that you ended up there? And the fact that you are one of the veteran wrestlers in the sport facing a true freshman, does it make you think about your career where you were back then?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess I'll start with how I kind of ended up at State College. I was kind of, a little burnt out on the sport and thought I was done. So I, decided to, be done. And then I started missing it a little bit, decided to try a new approach, just a new school. And, what a great place to reignite your love for a sport and your passion for a sport. As for like a true freshman thing, yeah, it's been a great career. It goes really quick in terms of like how I see it as him. I mean, I'm sure he just sees it as another match, and that's kind of all it is. It's just wrestling at the end of the day.
Thanks.
Ben Surface.
Drew, you look like you kind of stepped into the roster here seamlessly into the starting lineup. Do you view yourself as a leader, or what do you view your role on the team as?
I think we all learn equally from each other. And I think, when you see someone who's young or someone who's, having a bad day or something, I like to, talk to them and I understand where their mindset is and help them through that situation. But I think everyone on the team does that. I think we got a bunch of beasts on our team who just are good people as well. So I guess that's where I see myself as.
JP Pearson.
Hi, Drew. I was wondering if you could, if you would mind sharing with us some of the different feels that you get from Robbie Howard versus Roman Bravo Young.
Yeah, well, they're both really, really quick. I feel like Roman's a little longer, but not too specific. They're both really good wrestlers. Roman's got pretty good pressure, and Robbie's just like an animal. So they're both real fun to wrestle. It's exciting. A lot of flurries. I'm sure we look like cats flying around in like a fight or something. So.
Tanyon Loose.
Yeah, Drew, now that you've been here kind of for a little bit, I'm just wondering, like, how would you self-evaluate your time with the program so far, and kind of what are your just expectations and thoughts going forward with the team?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a great process for me. Like I said, it's helped, I'm in love with the sport again, right? And I constantly want to get better. And not just that, but I think, I think Cael's real good at setting a tone and reminding you why you're doing things, and also, keeping a good positive energy, whether that be on or off the mat. And so overall, I just think so far this program's helped me become a better person.
Andrew Clay.
Drew, a lot of people talk about how this team seems to be destined for a championship. How do you guys manage that narrative? And do you guys try to block it out or embrace it?
Even if they weren't saying we were supposed to win a title, I think we all, that's the expectation, right? We all want to win a title. We're all competitors. And so you always shoot for that first spot. We personally don't really try to look at stuff like that. I mean, at least me personally, maybe some of the guys do, but I highly doubt that. We just take every day like it's the same and train hard and compete hard.
And Surface.
Drew, I don't know if you heard, but Cael was telling us that Robbie Howard's a guy that, he's heard say that he tries to wrestle with you and learn from you whenever he has the chance. How does that make you feel knowing that, a young wrestler who's got an extremely bright future ahead of him is seeking you out for advice?
Yeah, I mean, that shows what a good athlete and what a good person he is, that he's seeking that out at such a young age. I know it's hard for a lot of guys to think and do, but yeah, I mean, it's cool. I love to show what I have, and I got some tricks that I like to show, and it means a lot. So
JP Pearson.
I was wondering if you could tell us when was the last time that you actually rolled around and wrestled with your sister, and what it was like wrestling with her growing up.
Trying to think. The last time I rolled around with her was probably, I think she had a training camp right before, it was probably July. I rolled with her right before the Olympics. And, growing up with her, it's just like growing up with any family member, I guess. You just always got their back. Sometimes you fight them, but you always have their back, and there's drama, but you love them, and you will always be with them. So
Tanyon Loose.
Yeah, Drew, I just want to hear your thoughts on your match with Nick Soriano. And I mean, obviously you never go into a match like thinking, oh, I just don't want to lose here, or like I just want to like lose by a little bit. But like, how do you handle a match where the guy above you is kind of regarded as, I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out a way to put this. I mean, he just was favored to win going in. So how do you kind of manage that from a mental standpoint?
yeah, I mean, he's a stud. That was my first time wrestling him, so I wasn't sure what to expect. I think that's one thing I got to work on personally, and I think that match helped me work on it. Is going in there thinking I'm the favorite and going in there getting to my stuff rather than just trying to steal one late. And so I mean, to your point, I guess I need to work on that more, and just thinking I'm the guy. So that's kind of how I'm gonna approach my next matches.
Jim Carlson.
Hey, Drew, are you looking forward to the atmosphere you're going to be walking into on Friday night? And can you guys, plan on feeding off of that as well?
Yeah, I mean, the whole Big Ten experience for me has been amazing. The Michigan duel was cool, and I'm sure we'll just feed off each other and compete as hard as we can. And when the guys see that, they want to compete as hard as they can. So.
And last one, Mike Finn.
Drew, this duel coming up, all your Big Ten regular season duels are just basic previews. What happens in the postseason? What's it like facing a guy several times during the regular season, then meet him in the postseason? Do you learn anything from these regular season matchups?
Me personally, since I kind of had a long layoff, I'm really enjoying these regular season matchups. They kind of you see them as practice till March, I guess. And, I feel like I'm building off each match. And so, when March comes, I'll be the best version of me.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Drew. Thank you for joining us very much. We'll talk to you later over in the room. And everyone, thanks for joining us. Just a quick note as we head into next week. Pretty sure this will be on Monday of next week, but we'll confirm with an email. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thank you, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.